Hello all, this is John from EastCoastArmory.com, and I'm here today with a project update video for this 1/6 scale Armortek radio-controlled late production Tiger 1. Since the last video update, progress has been made to the model's fans, and the radiator and fan clusters that you see here are now ready for installation. We'll be going over these units in this video. A quick spin around the fan drives. And the right-hand cluster. The two clusters that you see here are the resin kit from EastCoastArmory.com. The kit contains both components to assemble one left and right-hand cluster. Included with the clusters are the radiator, as well as the functional fans, as well as the fan housing that you see here. Also included, that's not seen in this scene, are the various little fittings and plumbing equipment that also connects this component to the tank's engine compartment. As for the fans themselves, as we can see, the cluster is comprised of really two components. We have the radiator. The radiator itself is black in color, while the actual fan cluster mechanism itself is aluminum. On the real tank, it would have been all cast aluminum with the fans mounted inside. And in addition to that, they are a left and right hand set. The difference being the way they connect into the center portion of the engine compartment where the actual engine is. Like I mentioned in my initial Tiger 1 video, the Tiger 1 had a very elaborate cooling system for cooling not only the engine, but the exhaust, as well as the engine compartment itself. All of that was facilitated with the cooling clusters that we have here. As we can see, the Germans, to save on production time, to make things a lot more standardized, they utilized one casting for the ductwork to facilitate both sides of the vehicle. To alternate the sides, they just simply switch the plumbing from the left side to the right side. Whenever they would not be using the opposite side, a cover plate would be bolted to the ductwork like you see here. In addition to the left and right nature of the ductwork, the radiators themselves were left and right hand specific as well. The left hand unit is different from the right hand unit in the top portion here of the radiator. The left hand unit, as we can see here, has its fluid filler cap located right here. The fluid filler cap is also an aluminum piece, and just like on a car or a tractor type radiator, you would simply just rotate it and open it, and then you could refill the fluid for the radiator. As for the radiator on the opposite side, as we can see, it's a different setup. This radiator here has a small little channel, and instead of that large aluminum filler cap, there is a bolted down cap with a small little bleeder valve that is on it. Like I mentioned in the initial Tiger 1 video, the plumbing was very intricately designed and would flow from one radiator into the next radiator and back into the engine in a very certain format. It is because of that format why there is only the need to refill one of the radiators as opposed to two of them. More information on that can be found in my initial Tiger 1 video. That's found in my video listings. Also, one thing that can be noticed is that the fans are fully functional and they are electrically powered, which is why they have this electrical umbilical cord coming out of the underneath of them. This is different from the real Tiger. On the real Tiger, the fans were controlled via output shafts on either side of the magneto tower on the Maybach HL230 or HL210. For the model, I went ahead and made them electrical just for ease of manufacture as well as ease of assembly for the end user. All of the fans that you see here are electrically driven and are 12-volt powered. For the purposes of this video, I have here a 7.2 battery that I'm going to connect to the fans just to turn them on for sampling. Both left and right hand units are fully functional. As for the wiring, the umbilical cord that you see here will not be visible once the tank is assembled, as there is a large duct that is in this location here on the rear portion of the Tiger. Once that rear duct is added, the umbilical cord will disappear inside the tank's interior. Also, currently that's left remaining to add to these two fans are the necessary plugs and jacks required to have them disassemble so I could get access into the tank whenever need be. Also, since the last video update, the model's engine has also been weathered. This is the same engine from the previous video, and all of the functions are still intact. Only thing that was added, like I mentioned, was the weathering, and that could be seen on the aluminum colors are more subdued, as well as a rusting agent was added to the exhaust. The weathering was also added to the carburetors, as well as the entire engine itself, which gives it that more grimy look than it had when it was freshly painted in the previous video. And while I have everything out here, I might as well also test the engine since I already have a battery on hand. And here we have the fans and the engine temporarily placed inside the rear portion of the vehicle. Now, a lot more additions need to be made to the engine compartment in order to complete it. However, the basic layout that you see here is going to remain. Just like I mentioned earlier, the fans and the engine are sold as unassembled kits on the EastCoastArmory.com product line. However, just like I mentioned in the last video update with the engine, if anyone is interested of having the fans pre-assembled and pre-weathered in the configuration that we see here, you can send me an email at the EastCoastArmory.com email address, which is info@EastCoastArmory.com, and I can give you a price quote and a timeline to produce the components that you see here. And with that concludes this project update video for this 1/6 scale radio-controlled Armortek Late Production German Tiger 1. If you like this video, stop by and like us on Facebook. And don't forget to check out EastCoastArmory.com for more 1/6 scale tank builds, as well as other 1/6 scale detail components. Thank you.